Another week is here, and time for us to clear the view on yet another issue of national importance. Not too long ago, the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otunba Runsewe, was in AIT on the visit. He was received by the Group Managing Director of Dar Communications, Tony Anegwe-Akiotu, and some members of his team. But you may ask, what is our interest in this? Our interest stemmed from the submission that culture and tourism will constitute a credible alternative to oil, and this is the high point of the view we want to clear on this edition. We're also having a question and answer session with Otunba Segun Runsewe.
I say this with total sense of responsibility that, honestly, I am back home. The Dar communication is part of my family, and I'm just back home to report back what has happened. But let me first and foremost thank Almighty God that in view of all the attacks on Dar communication, God still sustained this organization to where it is today. But however, there's one thing missing in Nigeria. We hardly thank people for doing us good. I have come to say thank you to Dar communication. That's the first thing I want to say, honestly. People say, Otunba have done so well, Otunba is doing well, is doing good, but they didn't know how many ingredients make that soup to be sweet. Dar communication happened to play a major part of that comment. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is important for us to know that nobody will build Nigeria for us. We got to build Nigeria ourselves. And that's why we have taken it upon ourselves to use culture to change the narratives of Nigeria. There's a product which is called AFAC. It's the biggest African Arts and Craft Expo in Africa. And we're expecting about 25 countries to come in. We want to depart from just having an expo without a media content. And that's why you can see we are here with the whole team. We believe for this product to succeed, we must meet the right public. And that communication becomes one of the key components of the success of this program. So I've come for an appeal to you, sir. We need an overwhelming publicity for this program. We have been able to engage a lot of Nigerians out of the street now. We'll prove that to you in a minute. They've turned waste to wealth. Some of the best ever mug that has ever been produced in Africa is being produced in Benue State, and nobody is celebrating it. So we are bringing all this to the shore of our country, to our people. I believe if AIT today, the Dar communication says, go on, we just believe that the success is just by the team. So that's why we've come to plead and to make all these presentations. With kind permission, if you permit me, we'll make this presentation, but please remember, we've changed the narratives. Now, the culture, we've been fighting with oil, but we've come to use culture to replace oil. And that's why we call it culture, Nigerian News Oil. This is a foot mat, but you'll be surprised. This is from pieces of cloth they pick in the market in the dustbin that produce this. You can see, that's why the color is multi. So no more waste. What we'll have packed to go and throw away is now what we're giving out as foot mats. We used to go and buy this in China for decoration, for flower, etc. This is being done in Benue. They will be at the trap. Nobody is promoting them. This is a bottle of Coke. After you finish drinking, you throw it away. We got them to pick it. The school children can now put their pencil, their ruler, everything, just for 100 naira. We've done iPad with a direct iPad cover. fully with Adire. Today, I'm very proud and happy to tell you people that a Chinese company has ordered for 2 million pieces. Wow. Yes, and we asked them the reason. They said to us, the leather got broken when it is cold and get peeled, but Adire will never. You just need a little more and clean it up, and it's back to form for every form of iPad. No need to import bags for our school children with the hanger and everything. There, this is it. Also with Adire, we're happy to present all this to you. Also having Adire drinking tea cups. Now these cups are with Adire, but however, it's also a little medicinal. It reduces blood pressure. We're signing a big partnership with AIT, decorated. The AFAC product is here, and Nigeria must speak and make a statement. It's the biggest cultural expo in Africa. We have the pin. We can pin everyone here with our proudly, our culture, our pride. But I think I can do yours first, depending when. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thank
you. I feel highly humbled and privileged to receive Otunba Segun Runsewe at this very auspicious moment. Every challenge that he has been given, he has discharged himself with a very high sense of responsibility and accomplishment. And his last assignment before now was in the tourism industry, and he handled it with a sense of passion, a sense of dedication and devotion. And I know that in this new assignment, he will bring in everything that he has to elevate not only the National Council for Arts and Culture, but take Nigerian culture to the highest pedestal that can be achievable and attainable. We'll do everything to support your efforts at trying to expand and change the narrative, as it were, and get Nigerians to believe in Nigerian products. So much has been said, buy made in Nigeria, and I think with the efforts of the National Council for Arts and Culture, we'll begin to realize and appreciate that homemade products, homegrown products can be, and indeed are much better than looking out beyond the shores of Nigeria and wasting the scarce foreign exchange, buying things that are better produced at home. So please, you have my support. From PLC, we have a small little gift for you.
Oh, sorry.
Otunba, good to be in your office.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Now, we want to know from you, for some 4-5 months ago, you became the DG, National Council for Arts and Culture. What changes have you put in place? And what, again, are we expecting that we can say, all right, these have been your achievements within this short period?
Well, Odion, thank you very much. Basically, we must first and foremost address the relationship between culture and tourism. Culture is the content, is the brand identity that tourism have to sell out. So culture is the palm oil you have to use to eat the yam. So it's very important for Nigerians to understand that what culture can do is to prepare the model of any country in the world. The language, the food, the heritage, the brand. So since I came in, the first thing we're trying to do is, one fundamental area is the creative industry. Now, I don't think we really have understood the creative industry.
Okay.
It's the effort of individuals, talents of individuals, which will be used to metamorphose into job creation, employment strategy, reducing crime, and making the country a better place. That was why the first 2 weeks I came in, I made efforts with the Bank of Industry to get a 300 million naira facility for the creative industry, which we're now strategizing how to dovetail them into the states, local government, what, etc. It's meant for them. It will interest you to know today that in this industry, 50,000 naira can make a difference. 100,000 naira, maybe that's the capital a creative person is looking for. And that's why we say it's a creative industry. So for me, honestly, I want to be modest in terms of what have I done since I came in. There are quite a number of them because I try to start from the right platform and get it right so we can have a platform we can sustain, which with or without me in office, there won't be any need for our usual, oh, it's not my project. It's no more there. We should dump it. That's one of the problems. So for me, I leave this for the practitioners, for the stakeholders, and the followers of culture to judge what I've done. But for me, a lot more we're still working on, which is coming on board. One of them, which maybe in the course of this discussion, AFAC, has been a product that was not given the right media. And no matter how good your brand is, if you don't get the right medium, it's gone. In fact, it's dead on arrival. So one of our strategy is that. Also, before now, the youth are not very much into culture. If you look at it, most of our youth, they imbibe, they appreciate the foreign culture. And that's why we're in trouble today. The ordinary youth or a young person in Nigeria believes for him to set a standard, he must be in tune with the American standard, the British, etc. Meanwhile, our culture is about the richest. We respect, we love, we admire, hospitable, etc. So these are some of the strategies we're putting in place to bring them closer. And that's why if you go on our website, be modest again, I don't think there's hardly any agency that has the kind of rich website we have. We're on the Twitter, we're on the Instagram, we're on all the new media, completely. So we communicate and they communicate with us. Recently, I got maybe about 30, 40 calls from the diaspora saying, oh, so we've now woken up to understand the rich culture of Nigeria. So they're interested. In fact, there's a Nigerian carnival in Houston coming up in December. They've contacted us. They want to celebrate our culture. You see, there's a disconnect. A white man who comes to Nigeria, he's ate enough of salad. He's seen a lot of new things in the world. What they want to see is the cultural thing that he's not used to. I'll give you a quick example. Some student from US came to Nigeria when I was in tourism. So we took them to Abeokuta. And at Abeokuta, the palace of the Ake, Alake of Egbaland. And they saw all of us prostrating, greeting the Alake. They said, any problem? That was their question, because they've never seen culture at that level. And later, one of them asked, why is the gentleman sitting down not talking? He's referring to the Oba. He has never seen it. He's still wondering what is going on. So we need to sell our own culture and imbibe it. Quickly on this one, if you go to our airport, you will see duty-free shop. What do you see? Television, telephone, pressing iron. A white man going back home is not going to buy a pressing iron. What a white man going back home needs is all these arts and crafts. To say, I've been to Africa. The Chinese will never give you a gift that is not produced locally by them. So we are creating jobs. And that's also our wares, our dressing. Very few, I mean, do you know that we did a research when I was in tourism in 2014? The number of suits and ties Nigerians wear is enough to give us 500,000 boreholes. I mean, you have to wear a designer suit. I mean, unfortunately, let me give this to you today, Odion. A lot of blacks in Africa have skin problem. What's the cause of the skin problem? Heat. It's always beautiful to wear something free and freer in Africa because our weather. The white man who puts on suits all the time is because it's cold and needs to tie up. So these are some of the few strategies we're coming up to enlighten, reawaken the consciousness of our people that culture can make a difference in our society.
It was a good thing having you as our guests not long ago in AIT. And there you made us to believe that culture will compete favorably with oil. Can you expatiate on that economically?
Well, thank you very much. I will tell you this today, that 17 countries in Africa, I repeat, 17 countries in Africa, none of them has 50% of Nigerian population, none of the 17. Their GDP returns from art, craft, culture, and tourism is over 22%. I'll give you one quick example. Kenyans. The Kenyans have gone into animal cultural-based tourism. Kenyans say they have the biggest lion in Africa. I respected that, and I celebrated with them. Only for me and my team in tourism to go to Jos, Plateau State. The lion in Kenya to the one in Jos is a child's play, it's a baby. The one in Jos is about 1.5 size of this chair. And I screamed. In fact, I wrote a letter to the governor that he need to be very careful. It was then I went to South Africa and did a study of 2 weeks on how to keep wild animals. It was then I realized, and I know that if you keep a lion in a concert, you must put an artificial rock in there. Because once it is 4 o'clock in the evening, a lion needs to relax. It will go on that rock. No matter what you do, it's there. It was a study I did. Now, when you want to feed a lion, you need to have 4 doors. That's the international standard. Now, the first door, when you enter, you lock it. You enter the second one, you lock it. Then the third one. Before the final one. The reason is, in case if anything happens, we're only going to lose 1 life. That's the study.
Okay.
In case. Meanwhile, the one in Jos has only 1 door. And actually it happened about, was it 8 months ago? It escaped. And he had a field day. I think about 6 people paid dearly before it was gone down. Yes. You don't keep such kind of animals without international standard protection. Now, a lion must have its feed before 8 o'clock in the morning, part of the study. So these are all the things we need to understand. Now, where am I going to? The South Africans have a building in Soweto they call Mandela's house. Where there, I visited the place. It was just a 2-room with a sitting room, and come and see the queue, the traffic. They were selling their culture. I'm giving you examples, tenable, searchable. The Americans have 9/11 disaster. They turned it into a cultural tourism product. They now brought 2 experts to tell you how the aircraft got in, and you have to pay $50. Disaster has been turned to entrepreneurship. So we in Nigeria, for a very long time, we have been working and talking about our weaknesses. We're not talking of our strength. We also have strengths. So to answer your question holistically, if we get culture right, then we have a tourism product to sell. Don't forget that when Mango Park came, all the great leaders then resided in Lokoja, where we have the first primary school in Nigeria, because the colonial masters were there. Now, do you know that over 15 leaders, the range of Mango Parks, were buried in Lokoja? That is a cultural tourism product. Only last week, the 4-story building in Nigeria, in Badagry, have recorded 14,000 visitors in a year. We need to understand what that means. Now, Mary Slessor, far away in Calabar, a lot of foreigners want to come and see Mary Slessor's tomb. Now, even if we do that for 200 naira per person to come and see, you can imagine the returns. I was in Los Angeles in 2012. This heard from me, and it's authentic. We found out that 62% of Black Americans trace their roots to Nigeria. I thought it was a joke. Then we went to Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, they tried to speak Yoruba. I thought it has ended there. Don't try to go to Brazil. They worship, they celebrate, they do everything like the Yorubas. So we have something, and that thing is the biggest secret of Africa, which is to tap the resources of culture. And that's why this AFAC theme is the untapped treasure is culture. It is huge. The returns are unbelievable. Let me tell you this quickly. If you sell a barrel of oil today, maybe 3-4 families in Ikoyi and Ikeja will benefit from it. But if you produce some of these artifacts, I can assure you, you touch over 300,000 families. The effect is enormous. The effect is huge. And if we tap into this, we get it right, crime rate, all these social vices, we just drop like the Chinese did. So, and that's the strategy we're now putting in place to tell you that culture is the next oil of Nigeria.
We've been hearing about an expo being organized by NCAC, or Council for Arts and Culture. What is it all about? Is it for people to just come, appreciate, possibly buy, and that will be the end of it?
I must thank you for that question. The expo has been on for 9 years. This is the 10th edition. Last year, we have about 17 countries. This year, we're expecting more. Now, it's called an African Expo, which is In fact, the biggest in the history of Africa. Expo. You know, we have the biggest festival in Africa. We have the biggest cultural fair in Africa. But the biggest expo is ours, AFAC. Now, that good question. If you listen to my interview, the day we received some visitors, the speakers, and the presiding officers of 15 countries. You see, the beauty of this office is I must adapt every strategy that every foreigner that comes to Nigeria don't go back with their dollars. There's no magic any financial institution can do. We must raise some dollars from culturally based strategy. Once we have liquidity of dollars, people coming in, buying, exchanging with our naira, the naira will be stronger. Oh, let's not deceive ourselves. It's not a matter of somebody just coming out saying dollar is 150 to 150 naira to $1, 160. No. Please check anywhere in the world. They're doing well today. They must develop a content that will bring in foreign exchange. And the biggest content is culture. Because every American, Britain, German, Spanish house you go, you find paintings, you find all these artifacts. They love them. So what we need to do now is to open up and broaden up, get investors from some of these countries to come and ease. I repeat, we're going to ease, make it very easy for them to buy this product and leave the dollars here. Once we do that, you'll be shocked. One country in Africa practiced that and they're doing well, and that's the Gambia. If you go to the Gambia in December, all hotels are fully booked. Everybody is coming there for holiday. It's a strategy. So this AFAC now, I'm working with some hoteliers to bring buses to convey the foreigners to the fair and take them back in the evening. We must bring a strategy to enhance them, to encourage them, so that they can always like to come back to Nigeria. That is the selling point. But unknowingly to most Nigerians, we are very friendly people. We are loved all over the world. We are about the happiest people in the world. So why are we holding back to show our product and let people come and meet it? So like your question in one point is that we're going to use this expo to bring in more foreigners and leave more dollars in our shore to make our naira stronger.
While answering the question on the comparison between oil and culture, we want to believe that you are operating, thinking futuristically about economic potentials. Now, how are the youths being carried along towards having gainful employment with your activities?
Well, thank you very much. Maybe, Odion, I will start to believe that probably you are very spiritual these days. Honestly, during AFAC coming up, we're giving free training, skill acquisition, how to make maths and etc. We're also going to cooking. We're bringing the professional chefs to come there. Some of our young ladies who cannot cook African food. I'm talking of look, we had an expo in London in 2009. And we brought amala. We brought eba. A white man took eba with plantain. And he was ready to go. He didn't know the difference. But you know the interesting thing? We brought fura de nono. And a white man who has been having serious problem of sleeping. He just took fura de nono. And he said that was the first time he slept early and woke up at a good time. So it has now reduced his medical bills. What are we waiting for? We should repackage fura de nono and start exporting. Really, if you want to sleep well, you don't need a sleeping tablet. A fura de nono well prepared from the local content, well packaged. Why do you? So we are now reducing. So if our youths can key into all this, I mean, it is wrong to think every youth must work in an office, must put on tie. No. That's why the creative industry is key to any development in the world, any development. So we are encouraging the youth, we are bringing them closer in this program to make sure they can start. Look, it's a youth who did this. This is a CD player, a CD tape that was thrown away. It's used as a tire now. This is a paper bag. This is the cover with Adire looking very nice. Now, this sells for 100 naira. Now, tell me, how do we talk of importing some of these things again? The youth have started getting job. The man who produces this is in Benue. Dajo or something. Dajo, who produces this. They're so beautiful, they're fantastic. You see? Now, Dajo also produced this. It's a teacup for one, which we are promoting. A teacup for one. That means if somebody comes to see you and it's so special, you can just give him this teacup. It speaks volume that, look, this is special for you to take your tea. But let me tell you something about this Dajo stuff, which you need to appreciate. When we gave some of these products to the Chinese visitors, they said to us, do we know that the material used for these cups are special because the heat there, it sustains it. Yeah. That means Nigeria have succeeded to have a medicinal teacup, which will keep your heat for long and you enjoy it. So we're now talking to him. We want to export all these things. He has employed some youths. He's bringing more because he will be one of the players in the next AFAC here on 27. So we're really working hard to bring the youth to be part of this vision and to create jobs for them and make life better.
Now, before we end this question and answer session, we want to know from you, we want you to talk to government and people of Nigeria. What cooperation, what words of appeal do you want to push across to them?
Well, let me start with people of Nigeria. People of Nigeria should believe the time has come. The change has really come. For instance, a lot of people now wear native dresses. They say they love to see it on me. And honestly, this, you will believe, this will have, if you bring the cost of a suit, it will give you about 10 pieces of this. Honestly, I'm telling you. They're so cheap. These things are produced locally. Very cheap. So I want the Nigerian people to key into this vision with us. The moment you buy one of these, you have saved a life. Honestly. Look, if you go to Dubai today, where they have, even their cultural items are not original. Today, the non-original product have become the biggest market in the world. I want to share this with you also today that when Nigerian Airways was doing 2 flights to London, they were still riding horse and camel in Dubai. Today, Dubai has the highest number of skyscrapers in the world. What have they done? The oil money, the United Arab Emirates, and don't forget, Dubai is not the capital of United Arab Emirates. It's Abu Dhabi. They didn't put sentiment. They didn't put, oh no, it's not from the north, it's not from the east. These are some of the things we're now trying to discuss with our people. The Nigerians should key into this strategy we're adopting. In Dubai today, the medical facilities in Dubai is imported, but they created an environment for it. What was wrong if we had keyed into Calabar to be our own Dubai? But then there was sentiment. Then some people said, no, it's not in the south, it's not in the north. For God's sake. If we had keyed into Calabar, the woman who sells egg in Enugu and Asaba will bring egg to Calabar and collect dollars. I remember the government then even gave a free trade zone status to Calabar. That means you can take up to $2,000 to Calabar. But we didn't allow it to work. If a Nigerian can take $2,000 to Calabar, a foreigner will bring 14,000. I'm telling you honestly, this is the strategy Dubai used, because the money Dubai made from oil, they put it there. Dubai has United Arab Emirates has 7 states. Only Dubai, Abu Dhabi is really popular. But the rest are benefiting from the returns from Dubai. Dubai owns Emirates Airline. Abu Dhabi has Etihad. They all fly to Nigeria. Now, because you've asked this question, one of the biggest airlines in the world, British Airways, has 14 flights to Nigeria in a week. 7 out of Abuja, 7 out of Lagos. Until recently, because of the exchange, whatever. Do you know that this is the only country in Africa, quote me and quote me very well, the only country in Africa that every major airline in the world fly into? We need to take advantage. Now, some of these airlines bring their, what they call them, hospitality items from their country. It is wrong. They are supposed to buy from where they are making the money. Nobody is talking. So those are some of the strategies we are working for Nigerians to key into it. If 15 airlines only decides to buy all their toiletries, their hospitality, their milk, etc., from Lagos or Abuja, you will see a change in the market in terms of returns of dollars. You cannot fly into America and take your items there. They won't allow you. In fact, there are some cars you can't take into America today. They won't, because it's below their standard. So a lot of things, culture has a role to play in virtually everything. Today, I want to beg Nigerians, we're not bad people. The disconnect is that 50% of criminals arrested abroad are not Nigerians. But because our passport is porous, one passport can destroy a nation. You saw what happened to the guy who was trying to bomb down an aircraft. The luck we had is that the guy didn't buy his ticket in Nigeria. It would have been a disaster. So culture has a role to play. And once people key into culture, they are cautious of being a criminal. In other clients of the world, when somebody commits an offense, they make it public. Now, I said it to the chairman of EFCC. That's why I visited him. Anybody from the foreign land that committed crime, we would escort him to his state and his city, let people know what he has done. Crime will reduce. It's because when they come back, we celebrate them, we give them title. It's only in this country, somebody is an armed robber, and they will call a chief to come and take his bail. Please, there are things culturally we need to address quickly to make Nigeria a better place. The other aspect of your question is, personally, I don't believe in that school of thought of complaining, no money, no money. The little that you have, what have you done with it? I know too well, if you judiciously use what you have and do it well, the same government will support you. All you need to do is to prove a point. And always remember that as Nigerians, our culture is our pride. Without our pride, we don't have a culture. Thank you very much.
What a delightful time with the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otunba Segun Runsewe. In a modest way, he has told us on what he considered to be his achievements within a period of 4 to 5 months. He took his time to expatiate on his belief that arts and culture will be a credible alternative to oil. And still talking economy, the DG also explained that the new wind blowing in the council would likely be in favor of the youths towards gainful employment. An expo put in place by the council equally came up for explanations by Otunba. And so till we bring you a new episode of ClearView, I am Odion Bello. Bye for now.